From Creamer Media in Johannesburg, this is the Real Economy Report. Our top stories this week. It's a blast as Microdots prove their mettle. Gold Junior Gold 1 eyes the Toronto Stock Exchange. And Synovate announces Quality Vehicles of the Year. It's technology the size of a grain of salt, but inside the tiny microdot is a 17-digit code that can identify a car and link it to its owner. It's also the newest weapon in the police's arsenal against vehicle theft. Irma Fente investigates.
Every year, more than 12,000 recovered but unidentified vehicles, worth around 1 billion rand, are destroyed by the South African Police Service. These stolen vehicles could have been returned to their legal owners had it been possible to identify them. But how does one do this, especially when the vehicle identification number, or VIN, and/or chassis number have been filed off? Well, how about spraying 10,000 tiny microdots over 88 different spots on a vehicle, each one carrying the vehicle's vital statistics? Business Against Crime South Africa Violent Organised Crime Workgroup Project Manager Forshia Burgers explains how the technology works.
The microdot technology works in the sense that we dot the vehicle with 10,000 dots. It's a very small dot, typically 0.8 millimeter and smaller. And on the dot, we have the VIN number, the vehicle identification number, or the chassis number of the vehicle, or a PIN, a unique identification number that identifies the vehicle. So if we can find one dot on the vehicle, we can identify the vehicle positively.
The big question is whether these dots can really withstand the severe actions of South Africa's criminals, and what better way to test it than under the Free State skies with 20 kilograms of high explosives, detonated at 7,800 meters a second, with a resultant heat of around 3,000 degrees Celsius. When the dust on this Business Against Crime experiment settled, the microdots were still there, proving that they are a suitable tool in the fight against vehicle theft in South Africa. However, only a very small number of local vehicles, around 400,000 of a vehicle park of more than 8.5 million, currently carry microdots, something which Burgers would like to change.
We would like to have it on all new vehicles. I know that there are problems with it. It is a cost factor. We are in a difficult financial times now, but it is still the cheapest to market at the manufacturer level or the importing level. But still, it is still open for the public to take the used vehicles to be dotted as well. A recent study that we did showed that the older vehicles are high targets of criminals, so they will steal the older vehicles as well. From Business Against Crime side, we estimated that the cost when dotting a new vehicle should not be higher than 400 rands. And when going to the aftermarket or the used vehicles, it can go up to 1,800, even to 2,200. But it's an open market, and we hope to get the prices down as soon as the number of vehicles dotted increases.
Gold Junior Gold 1 is eyeing a listing on the Toronto Stock Exchange after a dual listing in Johannesburg and Sydney. Martin Creamer has the story.
Gold 1 International has been listed in Johannesburg and also in Sydney. It is the first dual primary listing that we've had in South Africa, and it's possibly a benchmark for the future where you have a lot of gold assets in the country, in South Africa and also Africa, and less assets in Australia, but a lot of retail activity and potential investment from Australia.
Gold 1 will be a significant mid-tier gold producer. We will be an international, geographically diverse gold company, producing in the order of 500,000 ounces a year. We will be in the lower quartile of the industry because of our business model, and I do believe we'll be one of the preferred gold stocks because we will be delivering better returns than most.
In South Africa, we're used to gold mines being deep, dark and dangerous. Tell us about the difference with your Modder East.
We are focused on assets that are shallow and medium grade. Because they're shallow, they are generally lower technical risk. They are certainly a lot safer. And when you combine that with medium grade, you end up with assets that are probably high margin as well. And that's very much a North American or an Australian type profile. And that's why the asset base that we've built up in South Africa fits so well into Australia and has created the excitement that it has.
You've also got some exciting prospects. One which looks like being a big mine is your Ventersburg prospect in the Free State. How much like Beatrix gold mine could that be?
I expect Ventersburg to really be something similar to Beatrix. As I say, it's not quite as big yet, but there's a lot of potential. It'll certainly be bigger than Modder East, and Modder East is a beaut.
You also have Etendeka in Namibia.
Etendeka displays very high thorium anomalies, and as you know, I'm very bullish on thorium. Thorium is going to play a larger and larger role in the nuclear fuel cycle.
Tell us about Tulo in Mozambique.
Tulo will produce some ounces in the next year from the alluvial gold source. Our primary focus, however, is the primary source of that gold that's ended up becoming alluvial. We know where that primary source is. It needs to be explored. At this stage, we're busy opening up Tulo. So it really holds a lot of potential and could well be a company maker as well.
Global market research company Synovate awards the top automotive manufacturers in its 2009 Synovate Quality Awards for sales and service satisfaction. Chanel Pringle reports.
Mitsubishi, Nissan and Toyota have walked away with the top honours in Synovate's Quality Awards for Sales and Service Satisfaction, which rates the satisfaction of automotive consumers when buying new vehicles and having vehicles serviced. Richard Rice, Synovate Global Motor Research Sales and Marketing Director, reports that these manufacturers received gold awards in all 4 of the service categories. This outstanding performance is as a result of these manufacturers giving customers what they really want and not what the manufacturer or dealer thinks the customer wants, he adds. Further, he notes that the overall results of the survey are good news for South African consumers.
Obviously, volumes have dropped off this year and had dropped off last year, but I think it's very good news for the South African consumer. What it is telling you is that almost across the board, if you go into a dealership in South Africa, on average, you're going to get a very, very good experience. If you do get a bad experience, they do tend to recover well. Obviously, there are some issues out there, but in general, very good news for the South African automotive consumer.
Meanwhile, Rice says that consumers are changing, with emotional aspects becoming a bigger consideration when buying a new vehicle.
What we have seen is that emotion has become far more of a player, the softer aspects of the sales and the service transaction, as opposed to simple the hard tick box kind of stuff. So customers' emotions, their needs, coming through very strongly in terms of individual and emotional requirements as opposed to the hard and fast measurements that we typically use.
How well manufacturers and dealers listen to their customers and respond to these needs will become an important factor in ensuring customer satisfaction going forward.
And now for a sneak preview of this week's Engineering News magazine. Read our in-depth interview with Trade and Industry Minister Dr. Rob Davies, where he asserts that further significant deindustrialization would spell failure. We report that Eurocopter plans to expand its South African facilities in anticipation of a growing post-recession market. And South African Reserve Bank Governor Tito Mboweni expects the inflation rate to be back within target over the medium term. And in Mining Weekly this week, read our cover story on DRD Gold as it ramps up its surface mining projects to reduce costs. We report that the ferrochrome down cycle seems to be bottoming, and gold major AngloGold Ashanti is planning a new R1 billion plus uranium expansion at the Kopanang mine. That's Creamer Media's Real Economy Report. Join us again next week for more news and insight into South Africa's real economy.
Engineering news, not just for engineers.